I'm 43. I lived all my life in Pawtucket. By the time I was 18, I was snorting cocaine. 19, I was smoking it. And my drug of choice is to smoke it. I never did heroin and none of that other, or pills. I'm not a pill popper. I have my GED, and I did 2 years of college at CCRI. I always maintained a job somehow in my 20s, and I was on welfare. So that's where that money went. But I think in my early 30s is when I started actually selling myself to support the habit. I would always walk the street. It was a lot easier, quicker, faster, no waiting, no nothing, just hey, hi, you know, jump in, jump out. But that's the only time I actually was on the street, was to support my habit. Only in Pawtucket, Barton Street, Dexter Street, Broadway, Broad Street. You got old men in Buicks, Cadillacs, who just want to do you, just want to touch you, you know, for $30. How easy is that? You got the skanky looking ones, you know, who haven't washed up in days. You have the ones in beat up cars. You got drug dealers, you know what I mean, trying to pick you up and giving you drugs instead of cash. Whatever. They're young, they're old, they're black, they're white, they're purple, they're yellow, they're Chinese, they're all kinds, they're Spanish, they're all Cape Verdeans, they're all there. I do have a criminal record: fraud, ordering and publishing, shoplifting, and that was all behind supporting my habit also. But I've never did years in jail, but I'm always on suspended sentence or probation. And because of my criminal record, it's hard to find a job, because everywhere you go, even temp agencies, they want to do a background check. Thanks to my mother, DCYS was never involved with me, thanks to her. Before she saw anything happen to them, she would take them from me, and it worked out well. And they're grown. My youngest is 19. My oldest is 25. They disliked me for a long time. I'm just now getting them to respect me or even call me mom. The kids grew up. The husbands left me, so I was on my own. Mommy and Daddy was tired of supporting my habit for me. I wasn't working. I wasn't fit to get up in the morning to go to work, so the streets was my last choice.
A church knew of what I was doing, and they reached out with a referral.
Felicia called me. Felicia said, I asked her I wanted to do a program. She said, I have the perfect program for you. It was up in New York.
And she wanted to just get away. So I recommended a program that was 90 days in New York, and then the second phase was in Dover, Pennsylvania. And after that, there was a long process going through the court system to ask for them to release her from the state of Rhode Island.
She set the courts up for me. She did the medical for me. But again, I left in 3 months, came back. My family was disgusted with me. If I'm not mistaken, I think both of my kids at that time was locked up. So again, I hit the streets. From there, I was getting high, do a day, sleep. When I was, you know, days after, because I think I've gone as far as 5 days straight, just getting high.
It's an area where, you know, I mean, the police patrol it, but they can come and have interaction with a John.
In the park, I've got high in the car, I got high in an alley, I've got high behind a building, I've got high in the bathroom in a public gas station.
Some of the girls would climb up in something just to either get high alone, so they don't have to go in a house and share their stuff.
But I always find that when you go and get high in people's house, you always gotta make sure you have something for them. So before I didn't want to share, so I would do it as I roamed the streets. Sure, I've done $20 dates. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, but I always would go for $40 and up, because $40 would get me a longer high.
When they're on the street corner and they're cold and they're hungry and they're tired and they feel unsafe, that may be the time where it's most crucial to reach out to them.
She knew I was back, but there was nothing I could do. She could do at that point, but, you know, listen to me. Try to get me into another program, even if it was outpatient, but I didn't want to hear it. I've been clean for months now. Sure, I get urges. Are you kidding? All the time. It's funny because sometimes I'll be walking down the street and the smell of a muffler, to me, it's crack.
I often say about this program that a lot of women already have what they need inside of them. They just need somebody to help them, support them, and not judge them. I'm so proud of her. She's just come a long way, and she did it on her knees and scraping, and finally has a safe place where she can rest her head.